Halloween is one of my favorite seasons out there. Yes, I said Halloween the season. And today I wanted to talk about my top 10 Halloween episodes of TV shows. Now, since I grew up in the 90s, most of these are going to be from 80s, 90s, and 2000s shows. And as I'm going through this list, if you're wondering, why isn't this on it? Why isn't this on it? Well, these are just my favorites, but I'd be happy to hear what your favorites are in the comments down below. Welcome back to Fright Club 2024 on the Ecto-Violence channel. My name is Alec. Today we're talking about the top 10 Halloween TV episodes. My top 10. And we're going to start with number 10. Number 10, Hex and the Single Guy from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 1993. This is a great episode. It's very timely. It's one of those things, I debated Fresh Prince, Home Improvement, or Roseanne. And looking back, the only one that I still want to watch is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. In fact, I own the entire series on DVD, so I haven't watched it this year yet, but I'm definitely going to throw it on. But this is one of those episodes that's very 1993 Halloween, and that's kind of what I look for in these. That's why I thought of Roseanne and Home Improvement as well, because I remember the Halloween episodes really hitting in the 90s as a kid watching those. Number 9 is going to be Who Got Dee Pregnant? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia from 2010. I had to include this episode. It's Always Sunny is definitely one of my top 5 comedy shows of all time. It's probably in the top 2. It's got to be probably next to Curb Your Enthusiasm. But it's pretty wonderful, and this episode, again, is filled with costumes and hijinks, costume switching, a bunch of fun stuff like that, and it's all at a bar, and it's kind of more adult-themed. And you'll find this list kind of jumps back and forth between that, but it's definitely fun to have on the list. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, and if you haven't seen this one in a while, go check it out again. Trick or Treat, Curb Your Enthusiasm from 2001. Obviously, I just mentioned this, but this is the episode where Larry David has some trick-or-treaters that are teenage girls, and they're too old, and they're not wearing costumes, and he's like, I'm not going to give you candy. And they go, and they egg his house and stuff, and then he's all triggered. Honestly, Curb is my favorite show of all time, for comedy shows, not dramas, but it's truly just a perfect show. So go check this one out again as well. Night of the Day of the Dead, Lizzie McGuire, 2001. All right, now you're going to have to jump over to Disney Plus for this one. But this was one that I was kind of thinking, wow, what are some ones from my childhood that I watched on the Disney Channel or Cartoon Network or stuff? What was I watching then? And this is one that I distinctly remembered. I remember Miranda being obsessed about the Day of the Dead because of the culture, and she was making a big deal out of it, and that was very interesting to me. I was like, I don't know much about that. Lizzie McGuire, though, great series. I felt guilty watching it as a kid, but come on, what are you gonna do? Number 6, Too Young to Trick or Treat, Too Young to Die. That 70s show, 2000. Now, I have watched this season, and holds up. This is the episode where they parody a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock episodes. I can think, obviously, Psycho, Vertigo, The Birds, Rear Window. What was the other one? Oh, North by Northwest. So that's really interesting and cool to see. I dig that stuff. And plus, Fez is in a Rocky Horror outfit. This is the better of the 2 Halloween episodes of that 70s show, I think. The first one is pretty decent, too. Fez is dressed as Batman, so he has that going for it. Number 5 is going to be The Haunted Mask from Goosebumps, 1995. Now, I think I've mentioned Goosebumps a few times on this channel. I actually had the pleasure of interviewing Tim Jacobus, who's done a lot of the artwork for Goosebumps, including The Haunted Mask. And Goosebumps is one of those things I can watch to this day. I actually heard it was just recently put on Tubi, because some of the specials were on Netflix right now, but there's only a finite amount of those episodes on there. Not all of them are on there. So for viewers like you and me, we now know that it's on Tubi. Solid, go check it out. Number 4, The Headless Horseman of Halloween, Scooby-Doo and Dynamite Hour, also known later as The Scooby-Doo Show from 1976. This is great. This is one of the most iconic villains that we remember growing up seeing. Cartoon Network reran this stuff in the 90s so much. I saw so much Scooby-Doo. That's why I grew to be obsessed with horror. And the story of the Headless Horseman is very interesting. I really love how this villain looks. I do have an action figure of this villain somewhere. Probably packed away with the rest of my Scooby-Doo stuff because I don't have a lot of room right now. And by that, I really just mean that I have a lot of crap. So, number 3, Trick or Treat, Freaks and Geeks, 1999. Freaks and Geeks, another one of my top shows of all time. I absolutely love Freaks and Geeks. It holds up wonderfully over time. Even talking about it right now makes me want to go watch this episode. I think I'm going to do that later today. Might even have to do a whole other video on it, because just thinking about it, I'm like, I have a lot to say about this episode. It's wonderful. From the handmade costumes to the teenage shenanigans, like there's so many different relatable things in here. And if you haven't seen Freaks and Geeks, I highly recommend going and finding somewhere where it's streaming and checking it out. I have the whole series on DVD because I can't rely on that. Number 2, When Halloween Was Forever, The Real Ghostbusters, 1986. Okay, Sam Hain is one of the best Ghostbusters villains of all time. I think we all know this, people who are real Ghostbusters fans, or Ghostbusters fans. Please, just do the next Ghostbusters movie and make Sam Hain the villain. Just do it. Just do it. Have the movie come out in October. Fulfill all of our dreams. But I digress. I do have 2 figures. They didn't release one for the Real Ghostbusters Kenner line, but they did later for Extreme Ghostbusters, and I'm a big fan of that. Sam Hain was in the intro for that series, but wasn't in the series itself. However, very excellent. I love that episode. There is a Halloween part 2, also good, but I think the first one I kind of just wanted to put on this list. And the number 1 Halloween TV episode of all time for me, Some Enchanted Evening from Alf, 1987. I actually did just do a full video breaking this episode down because I love Alf that much. Obviously, you can see the Alf shelf behind me. I'm an Alf nerd. Now, but this episode has some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in any Alf. And Alf, I think, is absolutely hilarious. Alf and Willie together, match made in heaven for a sitcom. It's absolutely perfect. No notes. And that's my top 10 Halloween TV episodes. Let me know what your top 10 are, and down below, let me know which ones I missed. I didn't include any from The Office or Parks and Rec. How I Met Your Mother I even thought of, but I think these are my top 10. And if you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.